Good afternoon, guys. We are here with Jeb Insley and Chris. We are going to talk about supply chain and what we saw in terms of innovations on Sapphire this year. And Jeb Insley is responsible for supply chain in Americas. We worked together for a long time in Latin America prior to that.
Yep.
And it was a great time. And
amazing time.
And congrats for the promotion, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. And Chris also was working with us for this role in Grow, and now a solution advisor for America. So it's a great promotion too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
How do you feel about the challenge of this new role?
Wow, it's massive in scale, in the topic, in everything, but super excited and I'm looking forward to this. I think supply chain is a big investment area and one of the most important parts for SAP, for the industry, so a lot of focus.
Cool. And your job, you were working prior to Latin America, China, right? And now full America. So large markets, large challenge, and challenging times. So how do you feel about the challenge of the new role and what you are seeing here at Sapphire that I would say gives more purpose on the role?
Well, for me, it's coming back home. I started working in supply chain on the West Coast, and I'm back home in Los Angeles, now running the Americas. Coming back from 3 years in China and 3 years with you in Latin America, you can see how diverse and unique each one of the markets is. But we share a lot in common, and there's tremendous disruption that drives us to be innovative in supply chain. And some of the things that we saw here today and yesterday are going to help enable that. There's a lot of discussion around, supply chain orchestration, agentic AI, the architecture that you need to support that. There's already a lot of AI available to us. You've implemented it. Many of your customers are using machine learning to solve very complex math problems and look at pattern recognition to drive variability out of decisions that we make. So that's something that we've been doing for a long time. And there were some announcements today about that, but there are also some announcements to how we're going to integrate some of those capabilities with our LLM Joule to help our customers experience that complex technology in a way that's easily consumable by just interacting it in natural language, and that's going to describe plans. Supply chain also made several announcements about how we're bringing to market much faster some very specific agents like maintenance planning agent, service planning agent. So there's a lot of agents coming out from supply chain, but not only supply chain. We also made a lot of announcements about Business Data Cloud and the foundation that brings forward for agentic AI. One of the problems I hear often from supply chain leaders when we're starting projects isn't so much is it going to fail project, is it going to be adopted? The real challenge our supply chain leadership has is their people capacity, because as supply chain practitioners, we know everything about the business, and we're some of the first people that are sought after for other roles in the organization because we know what happens in a sales process. We understand what happens in a people process. And there were announcements made about how SAP's agentic AI is going to help with that, how we're going to identify skill set gaps, how we're going to identify where we might have shortages on the shop floor for people and provide skills that will then, or people that will then help us there. So supply chain has a lot of technology, but it's also run by people, and having some of these other complementary solutions in HR, in sales are also going to help supply chains run more efficiently. And that's the broad story about SAP's end-to-end capability.
Yeah, the way I see is when you go to supply chain is the glue that connects everything in the companies. Right?
Yeah.
And Christian Klein was saying a lot about a unique platform, an integrated platform, but a business suite as a whole.
Yeah.
And with AI on top of this, that brings the roadmap for companies to come from traditional management to intelligent management. And the way I see AI on top of this for supply chain is unique on SAP platforms. If you go to best of breed, like he said during one of the keynotes, in best breed, maybe you're going to optimize one specific topic of your supply network. But when you optimize one topic, you are not optimizing the chain. So it's not even supply chain. It's just a piece of the supply chain. And SAP, in my opinion, is the only company that can deliver upon this promise. And I think that's very unique and something that we saw here that brings some extra value. What about you, Chris? What you found out here that would be amazing for Americas in the following years in supply chain?
So obviously you touched upon some of those things, and I'm gonna build upon that. But for me, obviously AI, I see AI as the brain of supply chain. It crunches a massive amount of data, internal and external. It recognizes patterns, even evolving the machine learning algorithms, or even obviously what we humans can do. And it makes extremely accurate predictions. So if we go a few years back, and not so long ago, even today, we were focusing a lot on optimization, on lowering costs, boosting efficiency. That was a big focus. It still is, and it was a little bit of what you talked about, optimizing some parts of it. If we fast forward to now, we start talking about resilience, supply chain resilience, and how can we really be future-proofed. I think the bulletproof is the Colombian in me. Bulletproof, future-proof for the future. How can we really make sure that we are ready for all of those disruptions? Look at tariffs right now, and look at the different trade policies, geopolitical situations. So this is still a big focus. But as Jeb said, and you said, and everyone here, the next big thing, our vision for this, and it's around the corner, is AI agents or agentic AI, supply chain orchestration. So how can you really see everything end to end? And just picture this, imagine a finance agent looking at changing or collaborating together with a supply chain agent, changing the logistics, and then someone in workforce changing all the staffing immediately, real time. So I think that's huge, and this is what I see, and this is what we are talking to customers, and what they are asking from us and for us.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because a few months ago, so Southwest, and one of the guys runs IT review. He was presenting the main disruptions for the following year, and they selected like 10 disruptions. And one of the key disruptions he mentioned is agentic AIs integrated with robotics. And we saw that over here at Sapphire yesterday. Christian Klein showed an agentic AI that from a voice command he did at the stage, just moved the pieces and parts over the warehouse. So I think we are coming to a very unique moment in the history of business, where people is going to be able to voice command robots in the factory. We heard about digital twins a long time ago, but we are coming to a different situation right now. We are talking about voice commands from the management on top of AI that is giving strict orders to warehouses, logistics, or to the supply chain of production. And I think that's changed the game a lot. And we have the full technology for that. The robots are available for that. They are integrated. We have applications for that. We have AI for that. So how do you feel this opportunity for the future, and how do you think customers can engage into that? Yeah, can you give your thoughts on this?
I can certainly try. I mean, I think it's fascinating when we talk about that use case you just described. We can do a lot of it today. What's really missing is the architecture to support that at scale. I use voice to text all the time now. I'm sure you probably do that. It simplifies things. Now we're able to synthesize that into the language that we speak, and then we can pass that into an LLM that, if the right architecture is in there, like Chris described, around one that supports semantic definition of what that data is that we're calling on, one that supports smaller packages of logic and data that will be called on that represent the enterprise applications that we have today. That is really all we need. And if we have a library of agents to do that, or a library of data products to do that, and respond effectively, then we're executing that. You know, one of the big problems is with this, and it's not new, right? This concept has been around for a long time. When I was in China, big push then was in Industry 4.0, which is still an objective of many organizations. It's, you know, massive productivity improvements. We eliminate human interaction on the shop floor. A lot of that has been already a goal, but the problem is there's so much technology and different technology semantics and languages, proprietary platforms that get in the way of us doing that. If you think about a shop floor that's fully automated, you need to have a hyperscaler that's open to the cloud products that are getting information from the machines and communicate with the machines. You need to have the SCADA, you need to have the PLCs to integrate with the machines. And typically those are all different proprietary languages. What SAP really announced, and I don't think it's necessarily set in yet to how important it is having a layer that really understands the semantic definition of what that data is, and is open not only to SAP, but is open APIs to other solutions that organizations might be using to provide very specific business benefits. I know your business has created a series of applications that help very specific use cases, some of them with AI, some of them without, but you know, it needs to be able to call on those because each organization might have those. That's an extremely important point. I was meeting with one of the largest CPG customers just a few hours ago, and we were talking about demand planning AI that they had tried, and they really struggled because they took a bunch of data, dumped it into a lake on one of the largest, if not the largest hyperscalers, dropped down some of the forecasting AI algorithms that I know you know about, and you know what? It was not working very well at all because it didn't understand the definition of the forecast. They had to manually build all of that. And that to me is one of the exact business cases that we heard around why they built BDC. And it's really happening. And customers are really struggling with adoption of AI because there are so many pieces that need to be understood, especially understanding what the data means.
You know, can I add that once you have that, what Jeb was talking about on the architecture side and the data and the semantic layers, when I've been visiting customers for a long time in different areas of SAP, different business areas, solution areas, and what I always see is we're trying to do our best in our line of business from our angle, or as you were saying, automating one process. With agentic AI now, what we can do is really see cross-organization. And I know we want to do this with our business suite, but when you have agentic AIs collaborating beyond supply chain, beyond finance, beyond HR, that is pretty massive in my opinion, yeah.
Cool. Chris, what do you think would be a first step for a customer on that journey? How SAP is supporting them on that, and what would be your advice for customers that are willing to adopt those technologies in 2025?
Yeah, so I think first of all is we need to look where the customer is at, right? So if we look at the journey of AI, are we in the efficiency part, looking for efficiency? Efficiency is looking to lower costs, looking to optimize. Are we there? Are we already looking at the next evolution, which is being prepared for the future, bringing AI into taking external data, looking at a broader picture? If we are ready for that, then let's talk about agentic AIs. Are our processes in place? Is our data correct in one place with the semantic layers correct? If you have the infrastructure, then the second question would be, is your people ready? Do you have the talent and the workforce upskilled and with the transparent and complete picture of how this is going to impact in a positive way their work? And then do you have a governance model for all the AI and the ethics and so on? And then go. That would be my advice, and also what we are seeing at customers, because sometimes you have the technology, but the people are not ready. Yeah. Or you have the people ready and the technology is not ready. So I think technology, people, and then a governance model, and then we build the use cases together. Hopefully we'll exceed.
That's very interesting, because we are talking about high tech and the hype right now into AI, and people is key for that. And sometimes they are fearing the change or fearing the job losses and stuff like that. And the way I see is the other way around, right? We need the people being ready to bring those changes to the market, to bring those changes to the companies, and upskilling those people for that is one of the biggest challenges that we have, right? Because technology is there, change is there, but people need to be prepared for it.
And they need to understand what it means. That needs to be very transparent for them to embrace it and see that it's working with them, for them together. And also one thing that I see is that we're still looking at AI from only like our current mindset, which is creating one use case or something. I think we're scratching the surface and we need to completely think different when it comes to AI, because it has so many possibilities and multiple layers, and we just have the same mindset.
Yeah, the way you see is the revolution we have with the internet, the changing not jobs or specific functions, but business models as a whole. I think that's probably what we are going to see also in the future, in the following years. And Jeb, just to close this conversation, what do you think companies cannot afford to lose in 2025 with all those changes in the supply chain?
Well, I mean, I think everyone should be evaluating what their architecture will look like next year and the year beyond, because it's all changing so quickly. I mean, think about, when did you start using ChatGPT? A year ago?
Yeah.
It's probably changed how you operate as a person when you engage technology. And that's going to happen over the next 6 months, the next 12 months. So you don't necessarily have to adopt, but you should plan ahead, and you should start doing that now, having the conversations that set the stage for next year and the immediate years after that. Because if you're not, your business partners and your competitors most certainly will, and those productivity gains will benefit you or them, but you need to get started.
Cool. Thank you very much for being here with us, Jeb. Thank you very much, Chris, for taking the time to join us and to talk to the people from Americas. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.